Hi, I'm Adam Gilson, contributing editor for Epoch Press. And I'm here chatting today with Sam Mosca, the photographer and contributing editor for Epoch Press. How are you doing?
Good. How are you, Adam?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Thank you. So, could you tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and so on?
Yeah. I've got a bachelor's in literature and a master's in creative writing. I'm a mom to a nearly 2-year-old beautiful demon. Uh, and I live in Glasgow in Scotland. I am from Arizona originally. I've been living in the UK since 2013, so it's been a minute now. I love I love literature, books of all kind, from like urban fantasy all the way through to your, highbrow literature, and that should definitely be in quotes, but um, pretty much anything. I'm an avid reader. At least before I had a child who didn't suck all of the energy out of me, I read all the time.
Right. Yeah, you can see behind me there's toddler sign on the walls. I can totally relate to that.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Could you tell us what drew you to Epoch Press and in what capacity you serve, what you do?
Yeah. I work with as the contributing editor and the photographer. I've done the headshots for Kara, and I guess I should really start with like what drew me there is that Kara, the founder and editor-in-chief, is a good friend of mine, but we went to school together. We got our masters in Aberdeen, and creative nonfiction had never really been my genre, I guess I could say, as a writer. But I started to read Kara's pieces, and I just really got into them, and we discussed creative nonfiction a lot at the time. It's been years now, and she invited me to discuss Epoch Press, and I felt like it was a really good endeavor, and there was a niche place for it in the literary world, and I was really excited to join on.
Right. Yeah. So it's interesting when you were talking about the kind of the genres that you do enjoy reading. There's a whole bunch out there, right? And it seems like creative nonfiction is recently gaining a lot of traction. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think so. I think when you have a lot of different authors that have come out of the woodwork in I guess the woodwork. You have David Sedaris and his essay collection, which I've always been a big fan of. But he's quite famous, and further, you have a lot of authors coming out and writing their memoirs and essays. And right now, I know my stepdaughter, who's a teenager, she is into like several YouTubers who have their creative nonfiction, like their life stories that they put out there, their essays. And so they're definitely hitting, Gen Z. Like they're getting all of these other people. The audience is just growing and growing. And I think it's something that people relate to. You want something that is sincere and genuine. In fiction, you can find that for sure. I just think that when we search for connection, especially coming in and out of pandemic times,
right,
we're going to find that in stories that have those like really strong elements of truth, if they aren't entirely true.
Right. And you're saying something that kind of rings true to me, because I feel like for my experience with creative nonfiction for a very long time was like David Sedaris, is just humor, But now it seems like in the last few decades, it's been moving more towards much more deeply personal. Not that Sedaris' stories aren't personal, but telling things, bringing intersectional and bringing things to light that normally aren't talked about. And I feel like that's kind of one of the great opportunities that we have here at Epoch Press, is to put a light on, as an independent publisher, to shine a light on these stories, the truth in ink that we talk about.
Yeah, and to give the platform to authors who have something to say. You know, there's so much stigma in in society in total. There's so much taboo, and there's so many people who are oppressed, so many people who haven't been offered a platform, or don't know where to find a platform. And I think that we look to be that we're looking for like all of those voices, all of those authentic experiences that people are coming now, like you said, in recent decades, gaining more and more traction. People are looking for that reality. If we want to look at mental illness, and we want to look at racism, we want to look at real experiences that people are honestly going through, because they are more global, as we realize, as the world becomes more global every day.
Right.
Those voices are just, you know, more intrinsic, more significant. So we want to be there to lift those voices up and amplify them. And I don't know, I feel like that's something that we're all very passionate about.
I get that too, because I was just talking to Hillary a moment ago. She was discussing how it felt like she heard from Kara about this project, and you know, we kind of she just started it, and all of a sudden, boom, like a month later, there was 20 people or so, volunteers across the globe, all desperate to raise up these voices.
Yeah, and amazingly, like, I think we just have such an impressive staff. I have a complete imposter syndrome. I have a complete, like, I'm looking at everybody's bios and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing here. I spend 90% of my day with somebody who throws food at me. So like, it's an amazing opportunity. It's an amazing privilege. And I think it's a really cool project that everybody involved in is just like, everybody's so invested.
Right.
And I think that's great.
Yeah, you know, and there's a parallel between us, because I spend 90% of my time having food thrown at me as well. So I do look at the bios and I go, okay, this is great. But it just goes to show you, background's one thing, but the passion and what it is that we're actually looking for is well, that's what brings us together. Could you tell us why you'd like to see the Kickstarter campaign succeed? What do you think it would mean to you or to others?
Well, I think the biggest thing is that we're going to make it with the Kickstarter in a completely different way than we would without it. So without it, we can still publish. We just don't have those like glorious physical copies, right? So we want to tap into that visceral, physical way that you read. We want to tap into that pride that you feel as an author when you're published and you can hold it. You can hold that piece in your hand. It is equally as an achievement to be published online, but there is a satisfaction to seeing your truth in ink in front of you. Absolutely. So, you know, I think it's just something that we want to be able to give to authors. It's something that we want to be able to give to readers, and it's something that we want to produce. You know, we want that satisfaction as well as editors, to say, we made this, here's the thing, an actual thing that we made.
Right.
And I think ultimately it will give us the traction for the coming issues. So we have a Kickstarter for issue 1, and then really this is going to open the door to anything beyond that, because after that we have subscriptions and we have potential continuous donors who can donate privately, etc. So we can continue making what we want to make, putting that work out there. And I think that's the most important thing, is just getting work out there. You know, people are turning back to the physical book copy. Mm-hmm. You know, they want that sensation.
Tactile.
Yeah.
Experience. So just to reflect back on what I'm hearing you say, the Kickstarter campaign succeeding isn't just about this particular issue. Going forward, the Kickstarter campaign succeeding opens up a lot of other doors to the publication itself.
Yeah, I do. I think what it does is that it shows a measure of success. It shows a measure of reader involvement and interest, and that I think it's there. I think it's definitely there, and I think it will be there if we don't make the Kickstarter. But the Kickstarter gives us this. It gives us the thing. We made this thing. We did this thing. Look at everyone who's supporting us. Look at our contributors, our supporters. It shows that measure of success, so that the next issue and the issue after that, we have this one, aspect under our belt, and we can take it with us to the bank for the rest of the way, so to speak.
Yeah, no, I hear you. You're right. And it's kind of like it's creating for those backing it. It's not just this. It's more of a legacy thing that happens throughout the next year or so, as Epoch Press evolves. So do you have anything else you'd like to share with us? Anything about yourself or anything on your mind?
Not really. I'm excited. I'm excited about every time I sit down to read new pieces. I would like to tell people that there's just some amazing work that we have been sent that we're all really crazy about, we're all really into, and we can't wait to share that with everybody.
Yeah.
We can't wait for those moments, for sure.
I think Kara was saying that they were getting like 5 submissions a day, something like that.
Yeah, I think in the last 2 days, wasn't it? And just in the last 2 days, it was like 15.
That's just amazing.
No, she put up 20 new submissions.
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, I think the average might be 5 a day, but recently it's been it's been a lot. We're getting a lot. It's amazing. We have tons to read all the time, and it's an absolute pleasure. It's so cool.
Yeah, it really has been.
Can't wait to find out who all the authors are. That's exciting. We can look them up and read their other work eventually.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I want to thank you for your time, Sam. It's been great.
Yeah, thank you.
We've never met before, so this is the first time. And I want to thank all the people out there watching, sitting with us, getting to know us a little bit better.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So thank you again, Sam, and thank you all out there. And until next time, take care.